for joining the environmental lecture presented by the Environment Group of the American Chemical Society, Pittsburgh local section. This lecture is co-sponsored by Calgon Carbon Corporation. I'm your host, Ron Honglin, member of the ACS Pittsburgh local section and chair of the environmental group. The environmental group is a topic group within the local section, and we support a variety of activities, including this monthly environmental lecture series to promote a deeper understanding of science, technology, and our environment. This lecture is being recorded and will be available online later. And I would like to remind everyone that the views and opinion expressed by our presenters are solely those of our presenters and does not necessarily represent the views of ACS Pittsburgh local section and also our sponsors. So our speaker today is Dr. Keisuke Ikehata. Dr. Ikehata is an assistant professor in the Ingram School of Engineering at Texas State University. He joined Texas State as one of 4 founding members of the new civil engineering program in July 2019. Dr. Ikehata received his PhD in civil and environmental engineering from the University of Alberta in 2003. He has 20 years of experience in water quality and treatment research and engineering. His current research centers around the use of alternative water resources, including brackish water, reclaimed water, and stormwater for potable application using advanced treatment and monitoring technologies, as well as the taste, odor, and appearance of drinking water, including purified water. Dr. Ikehata has been a member of ACS since 1999. He was the chair of the ACS Orange County local section in 2019 and program co-chair for the 2015 ACS Western Regional Meeting. He is currently a member of ACS Committee on Environment and Sustainability. With that, please join me and welcome Dr. Ikehata to give the lecture. And thank you everyone for joining us today. And I hope you enjoyed the lecture and happy World Environment Day. All right, Dr. Ikehata, you can take over now.
Thank you very much, Dr. Lin, and thank you very much, everybody, for joining and having me at this very great opportunity to present our research happening at Texas State University. And when I received email from Dr. Lin a few months ago, email from Pittsburgh local section. Oh, wow, I'm going to go to Pittsburgh to watch the Penguins game. It's probably too late for the hockey game, but I've been to Pittsburgh several times. I have a very fond memories, and I would love to visit your local section sometime in person and, again, watching the Penguins game. So I'm a I was a hardcore Penguins fan long time ago when Jaromir Jagr, Mario Lemieux, and Ron Francis are playing. So thank you very much again. The title of this presentation is Water Reuse, the Solution for Sustainable Water Resources Management from the Earth to Moon and Mars. This is kind of what I like to show you. What we have been doing at Texas State. Just a disclaimer: we have not really started the moons to Mars kind of operations, but we got some ideas cooking, and I have a few slides about what the future may be looking like. So, but primarily our work has been focused on the water resources for Earthlings like us. So I'd like to acknowledge, my student Carlos Espinola. I can actually see him in the audience. Can you see my screen, by the way? All right. And Rasha, he's, I think, currently working at the site, or no, I don't know. I don't know where he is. And so let me start. Oops, how can I start this? All right. All right. So, well, this project has been done, but we couldn't do this without all of those collaborators, graduate students, undergraduate students from so many different organizations, universities, companies. So there's so many names, but I like to just show this slide at the beginning to really express my appreciation for their support. I need to mention that this research has been funded by Desalination and Water Purification Research Program from the U.S. Bureau of Reclamation. They have been very generous about funding our research, as well as several smaller grants from different parties. And so when talking about water reuse, a lot of people probably will think about climate change and drought, which is definitely one of the driving forces, and I'm not gonna deny that. That is something we've been seeing and experiencing. So, in case you wonder, what's the Texas drought situation has been in the past 25, 24 years. This graph is taken from U.S. Drought Monitor. If you haven't seen their website, I highly recommend going there and check out all this statistics and data. Very useful for your presentation. This is U.S. government data set, so it's copyright free as far as I'm concerned. And this is the worst time in Texas. Actually, I wasn't here in Texas back in 2011. I was in California, and I was in Orange County. As Dr. Lin introduced, I was being a member of the local section over there. So it was pretty red, dark red, which indicates that the entire state was pretty much no water. Yet, if you look at this one, this is downloaded a few weeks ago, May 21, a couple of weeks ago. This is where the drought situation in Texas looked like. We still have pretty persisting drought in the West Texas. West Texas has been dry for many, many years. So that is their persisting problem. And this is where we are. Texas State is somewhere around here. We are actually still experiencing persisting drought situations, but the rest of the state is pretty white and yellow, so which means we are not that seriously dry at this very moment. So which means the drought and flooding is just keep happening, and it's getting more and more severe. This is a huge drought when we had this drought monitor map was taken. So this is when the drought was at its peak, but it's not always dry. And I was curious about Pennsylvania situation. I know Pittsburgh is pretty wet. So this is what Pennsylvania's drought situation over the past 24 years. It's very different from what Texas looked like. So you guys are blessed with a lot of precipitation. Maybe you have different type of problems like flooding and too much stormwater to manage. And this is where we are in terms of drought situations in the United States. So there are a few places experiencing persisting drought, this is New Mexico, and south northern part of the U.S. and a little bit of Texas. So this is where we are. So drought is not the most strongest driver as far as I can concern. I'm concerned to promote the water reuse. So what I like to use more recently is the population growth. Population growth is very, very significant. I'm sure some of you have heard about Texas is booming thanks to the economy, and a lot of people are migrating into Texas. And I'm actually one of them. 5 years ago, I came here, almost exactly 5 years ago. We got here on June 28th, 2019. So, and one of them, and we're projecting to have another 22 million people in the next 50 years, or actually less than 50 years, 45 years. And we do have to come up with additional water, and which is approximately 4 million acre feet of water per year, or a lot of gallons of water per year. So where can we come up with those water? We are experiencing drought, which is no doubt about that, and we are getting some shortage, serious shortage of water here and there. So what I believe, is the water reuse and desalination to be the solution for this challenge. So those are alternative underutilized water resources in Texas, and these are more or less drought resistant. Some people say that it is not entirely drought proof, but it is drought resistant. So that we have water within our community, and we can reuse over and over that wastewater without depleting it. We lose some, and that's why this is not going to be truly sustainable without additional water sources, but this can be a good solution. But we all know that wastewater and the brackish water has a lot of constituents in it, especially the wastewater. Wastewater has not only the total dissolved solids like salts, sodium chloride, calcium, magnesium. Why chloride is here again? Sorry, this is a typo. Sulfate, carbonate, bicarbonate. And there are a lot of bulk and trace organics, milligrams, micrograms to nanograms. Everybody talks about PFAS these days. And as well as nutrients, metals. So those constituents need to be taken care of or removed using some advanced treatment, such as reverse osmosis. This is a treatment plant that can produce more up to 130 million gallons of purified water out of treated wastewater. This one is located in Orange County, California, where I used to live. So potable water reuse is really technically and economically feasible. The states like California has a lot of projects, full-scale facilities and facilities currently under construction, and some planned facilities, 20 plus projects in California. And those are mostly indirect potable reuse though, so which means we are treating the wastewater to the level that we can drink it. Those places are indirect water potable reuse plant, one in El Segundo, which is very close to LAX, pretty nasty, busy airport in LA. And this one's in close to north of LA, and this is Orange County Water District. But something called direct potable reuse is becoming more and more important because we can omit some environmental reservoirs like groundwater aquifer or big surface water lake, and we can skip that and we can reuse the water directly. So that one example is Big Spring, Texas, raw water production facility. This is me drinking their purified water. But unfortunately, direct potable reuse has not been practiced very widely, primarily due to the public perception and some additional cost relating to the treatment to make it directly drinkable. Although this is kind of questionable because a lot of indirect potable facilities like these, they are serving water directly from at the end of their facility, which proves to me that this water is indeed drinkable. But we have to send it to the groundwater aquifer, pump it up again, treat it again, which is a waste of money and energy. So we'd like to break this barrier somehow so that we can drink purified wastewater directly. So we got several planned indirect potable reuse facilities or project in Texas, and there are quite a few de facto potable reuse, which basically means we are drinking somebody's wastewater in the downstream. And this had been practiced so many years since the beginning of our civilization. So what about non-potable reuse? You know, some people are resistant to drink wastewater. I'm not, but some of you may be hesitant to drink wastewater. Why don't we use treated wastewater for non-potable reuse, like landscape irrigation, agricultural irrigation, industrial reuse, and other good use of wastewater? What's wrong with it? Nothing wrong with it, but what I like to point out is the demand for irrigation is very much seasonal, and we will be needing more water when the weather is hottest and driest, which is summertime. An additional problem is something called dual pump plumbing and pop-up pipe system, which means we have to build a huge infrastructure to send the different quality water to all of the city, which cost us millions and billions of dollars to build. So that's expensive. Instead, although we don't have to build advanced treatment plant, which is also cost millions of dollars, we have to build a distribution system that would cost us millions of dollars. And another thing is water will not going to come back to us. I think the purpose of direct potable reuse, in my mind, is just keep reusing water and circulate within a community so that this is going to be sustainable. But once you irrigate your water to the lawn, this water will not going to be collected at the wastewater treatment plant, so it won't come back to us. That's a little bit sad. So there are several challenges of DPRs, and these are some of the examples: reliability, robustness, and resilience. We want to keep the purified wastewater very safe and reliable. And that's we can make it work, but we have to use so many redundant system treatment processes to make sure one process failed, the others can back it up. Do we need that redundancy all the time? No, which costs us a lot of money, but we have to at this current technical level. We want to somehow improve that. High capital and operational cost is indeed a certain problem, but I need to mention that to do DPR, direct potable reuse, it only costs us $3 per 1,000 gallon of drinkable water. Right now, conventional system is probably around $1 per 1,000. So DPR is about 3 times more expensive. But seawater desalination is $4 per 1,000 gallons. So which is actually more expensive than potable reuse. So would you like to drink $4 per 1,000 gallon seawater or $3 per 1,000 gallon wastewater? I would rather pay $3 than $4. And concentrate management, disposal, and public acceptance. This is a big deal. This is my daughter. Several years ago, we attended the open house of one of the wastewater purification facilities in California. We need to do a lot of public PR to let people understand that science and chemistry and technology behind the portable reuse, but it's very difficult to convey the idea of how safe and how reliable these systems are, because it's, everybody probably know how difficult talking to the public and conveying the science. So we'd like to improve that part. So, like I said, a safety of portable reuse water is paramount. There's absolutely no way we would like to send any off-spec purified water to the distribution system to make anybody sick. This is the most important thing ever. So there are two types of risks: microbial risks, which is acute, means that if you got one bad cells of Cryptosporidium bacteria or some pathogenic viruses in your water, and if you are not lucky, you may get sick. So in order to protect the public, state of California is implementing extraordinary 12-10-10 and 20-14-15 log removal of those pathogens for indirect portable reuse and direct portable reuse projects in the state. So 20 log virus removal means 99.9999999. So you need to have a 29s low percent removal. That's extremely high level treatment. Whereas in the state of Texas, we have minimum 5.56 log removal from treated wastewater. Just don't be confused. California is starting this 99.99% removal starting from the raw wastewater, but in Texas we start counting that log removal from treated wastewater. And almost all that risk assessment, risk management, assuming 1 in 10,000 per capita risk of infection rate. And we have chemical risks, disinfection byproducts, nitrate, and trace of contaminants. Those are regulated on chemical contaminants in all over the drinking water. No, portable reuse water is no exception. We have to meet and exceed that drinking water regulations, including the PFAS that is everybody's talking about nowadays. But as all of you probably know, lab testing takes time. So this is a picture of my student collecting sample at the facility, and another student is testing in the lab, and assuming we are sending the sample to a testing lab, we'll be receiving some kind of report. This whole process takes anywhere between a few days to a month. So would you like to wait for a month to get the proof of your water is safe to drink? That's probably not the best idea. So we gotta develop a reliable online monitoring system that can detect the critical parameters like pathogens and chemical contaminants right away, so that operators can tell and shut down the system or make some adjustment accordingly. So that's the future of DPR. Unfortunately, there is no such a system or that can detect the actual pathogens real time. There are a lot of developments and we are working on that as well, but there's no system that can prove that the absence of a pathogen, which is very difficult. So that's a worthwhile task to explore. And public perception is a major obstacle. This is a very, very difficult thing to do. By the way, these 2 bottles of water, I have those here as well. I have a collection of purified wastewater for drinking from different places. This is Swift water from Virginia Beach, close to you guys. And this is Orange County, California. So this is a purified wastewater from the East Coast, and this is a purified waste from the West Coast. In the back of the Orange County Water District's water bottle, it says, "Get over it." So, well, is this a good, nothing wrong with this, but I would rather promote the purified wastewater, which is, pleasant thing to drink, rather than, we gotta be sucking it up. That's not a greatest message as far as I am concerned. I think we had to use that before, but maybe from in the future we should not just tell that this is wastewater. No, don't even think about it. That's not a good message as far as I'm concerned. This is my personal opinion. Or a lot of utilities start brewing some purified beer, water beer. This is me drinking. I don't know how many years ago. I used to have a long hair, and this is probably more than 5 years ago because I cut my hair to become a professor. And I stopped drinking beer. So does this kind of this kind of campaign doesn't work with me anymore. But in fact, purified wastewater can be tastier than tap water. This is actually something that people have been overlooking. And I've been working, I'm fortunate to work with a lot of great researchers like this guy, Hunter Adams in city of Wichita Falls. Wichita Falls did the emergency DPR. And there is anecdotal evidence that the cities of Wichita Falls, the resident there, they actually like the DPR water over the conventional surface water because there was no customer complaint during the time when the Wichita Falls did the DPR for 1 year back in 2014 to 15. When the rain started falling from the sky, so they switched from the DPR water to conventional surface water. And then they start receiving some complaints from the customers. Well, they got a lot of algal growth in the reservoir and start tasting some funny things in the water. So some of the residents actually talked to Hunter and telling him that, hey, when you gonna start doing the DPR again? So this is a very strong message. And this is evidence that purified water can be pretty good and tasty. I think I'm kind of going too slow, so let me kind of start picking it up. I still have another 20 slides to go through. So at Texas State, we are doing several pilot projects in partnership with several different organizations listed here. And there are 3 projects. Development of multi-parameter direct water quality monitoring system. This is funded by Reclamation. Taste, odor, and appearance of purified water for DPR. This is a collaboration with City of Wichita Falls and Virginia Tech. And augmentation of reclaimed water with stormwater for direct potable use. This is another project, pretty small. I don't have time to go over this today, but these are the DPR projects currently happening at Texas State. So we have 3 hypotheses. So online analyzers will ensure the microbial and chemical quality of purified water. No doubt about that. If we have a great working online analyzer that can say that, that tells us the water is free of contaminant. So then we don't have to have a redundant system. We just have to run the system that is required and save our energy cost and chemical cost. That's something what we are trying to achieve. And the second hypothesis, the purified wastewater is tastier than tap water and contains little odor causing compound, and which should be a good PR towards public on DPR. And we want to use the stormwater and some condensate from HVAC system to enable more sustainable and aesthetically acceptable DPR project. So those are our 3 focus and hypotheses. And right now we designed and constructed approximately 2,000 gallon per day or 1.5 gallon per minute pilot scale DPR system at the City of San Marcos wastewater treatment plant. We got some site at the wastewater treatment plant, and 2 of my graduate students actually designed the pilot system. This is what one of the grad students drew for me. I didn't do any CAD drawing, and he just did it, and they actually constructed back in 2022. So whole year in 2022, we means they worked so hard design, construct, testing the DPR pilot system. And spring 2023, actually January 2023, we start operating our pilot system at the wastewater treatment plant, start collecting a lot of data, and we are still running our system and doing additional experiments as we speak. So reclaimed water quality is pretty good. The wastewater we are using is a tertiary treated and UV disinfected. So this is just water quality parameters of some important critical parameters. TDS, total dissolved solids, is a little bit higher than the federal limit, but Texas has a little bit higher TDS limit, which is 1,000, although we want to keep it below 500. The other parameters reasonable. TOC is 6.4 plus minus 3. Nitrate is pretty high, so we have to bring it down to less than 10 to make it drinkable. And other parameters are fairly reasonable. So we have a good water to start with. And to develop and test online parameters, I don't have a lot of time to go over the data, so I just want to introduce what we've been doing. So we have three online analyzers for 3 parameters: NDMA, N-nitrosodimethylamine. This is non-carcinogen, group 2A carcinogen, which is the disinfection byproducts from chloramination and ozonation. Another one's bromate, which is a 10 microgram per liter primary MCl, DBP, disinfection byproduct from ozonation, group 2B carcinogen, probable. And bacteria. So bacteria can represent some of the pathogens we may be having in our wastewater. Could be used as index or some surrogate for effective removal of crypto and giardia. And those are the analyzers that we have been testing. We have tested these 2 analyzers with a little bit of I would say, but unfortunately I don't have time to show some data today. If you're interested, please reach out to me. I'll be happy to share some of our results. So, oh, why this is here? Sorry, this thing needs to be removed. Excuse me. All right, so let's talk about taste and odor and aesthetics. And surprised or not, reclaimed water has some odorous compounds like dimethyl sulfide, dimethyl trisulfide, jasmine, cis-3-hexane 1-ol, beta-ionone, 2-MIB, octanol, and some anisole. So these are the concentration detected, and this is an odor threshold concentration. Not all taste and odor compounds are exceeding this odor threshold concentration. So this column is telling you, this one's telling you how often we detected those compounds and how often those detected compounds are odorous. So 100% trimethyl trisulfide was detected above OTC, and 100% detected was odorous in the case of some anisols, MIB, and a lot of time jasmine as well. So this is not surprising, but we wanted to make sure that our water is odorous. So since this is ACS, I'd like to show you some chemical structures in case you cannot picture what these chemicals are. Obviously, sulfide is those looking like these. A lot of these compounds are some microbial metabolites. Jasmine 2-MIB is produced by some species of cyanobacteria, and some actinomycete also produces jasmine MIB. TBA and TCA, tribromoanisole, trichloroanisols, these are also some kind of microbial metabolites. And this is my student Carlos went to Wichita Falls testing some samples he collected. And we also did some sniff tests or sensory analysis to actually use our nose to see if we can detect the odorous compounds. And I have some data to show here regarding the taste and odor project. We could see that this is a ozone biological activated carbon filtration treatment train. A lot of compounds are destroyed and removed by ozone biological activated carbon, except for 2,4,6-tribromoanisole, which seems to be persisting. Later, we did additional experiments and we confirmed that 2,4,6-TBA could be removed by ozone BAC if we increase the dose of ozone. This experiment, approximately ozone dose is 3 milligram per liter. Oh no, 6 milligram per liter or so. Now I can't recall exactly. I think Carlos knows this better. Also, we noticed that some aldehyde are generated by ozonation, which is nothing new. We all know ozone destroys and decomposes organic compounds and produces aldehyde and ketones. And we actually saw a huge spike of hexanol and octanol after ozonation, but biological treatment could take care of that generated hexanol and octanol. So that was pretty cool and neat. And also, most of the taste and odor compounds could be removed by ultrafiltration reverse osmosis UV peroxide AOP, except for jasmine. Jasmine somehow broke through partially from the RO, and which seems to be something that we need to be looked at. But overall, TNO compound, taste and odor compounds are very well removed, which basically prove that anecdotal evidence of DPR project at Wichita Falls can be proven, because this is a type of process that Wichita Falls, Texas used when they did the emergency DPR project. And we did tasted our purified water at several different occasions. When the city officials come and visit us at the wastewater treatment plant, me and my grad students tasted it, and it tasted great. It happened during the springtime, so the water was actually nice and chilly. That was very tasty. So, and we tasted one more time, and more recently, and tasted good. So I didn't smell anything funny. Anything smells like, wastewater or sewage. It's a great water, refreshing. So this is a message that we'd like to send across. And if you have a doubt, come to see us. We'll be happy to give you a cup of water if you're interested. So let's talk about water in space a little bit. I think I have about 10 minutes. Is that okay? So let's talk about water in space. So if you think about water in space, this could be one thing you may think about: International Space Station. And if we want to send this 1 gallon of water, natural spring water from Texas, to International Space Station, it costs $10,000. And there are 7 astronauts working in the International Space Station, according to NASA. And we need to secure approximately seven. I actually don't know exactly how to count how much water they're using, but assuming they're needing the same amount of water, which is questionable on Earth, we need about 700 gallons of water per day, because each person will need 100 gallons, which is probably not the case in space station. So 700 times 10,000, that's a lot of money every day. So instead, they are doing water recovery, and reportedly 98% of water is recovered by their water recovery system. But there's a caveat, because they are only utilizing urine. And as far as I know, the other part of our wastewater, which is feces, is currently disposed of into the space. So this is not going to work when we start doing colonization of the planets like Mars or satellite like Moon. So we have to build controlled ecological life support system or cells to really recycle all the resources we could bring to the space and keep reusing it. Anything from oxygen and water and food, and we gotta make food out of those and utilize the water, urine, wastewater, and feces. We don't want to get rid of the feces, which we got lots of nutrients in it, and we don't want to just toss it to the outer space. We will be running out of nutrients by doing so. So we have to build this completely circular system. And if you remember this guy, Matt Damon, he reportedly he was able to cultivate a lot of potatoes using his wastewater on Mars, which has 100 times thinner air, 95% CO2, 3% nitrogen, 1.6% argon, almost no oxygen, and the gravity is just a fraction of Earth's gravity. So this is a Chinese version of cells. I just found this in one of the literatures, and there are 4 people living there, and we need to secure 400 gallons of water per day, and we need to have 16 pounds of food per day, and approximately 160 kilowatt hour of electrical energy per day to sustain the life for only 4 people. Okay, so this is going to be pretty challenging. So I'm expecting, remember, our advanced water purification system can do 2,000 gallons per day. So it's actually not that big a deal if we could transfer the Earth's technology on the Earth, assuming we can run that advanced water purification. There are still a lot of work needs to be done. How can we secure food? And we actually started a new project in collaboration with Mälardalen University in Sweden. They are the leading institution, and we also partner with Swegreen and Wichita Falls. We are actually investigating the use of wastewater, treated wastewater, to grow some food. So this is an exciting research that we are starting. So if you're interested, please check this out. And Texas State is going to do some pilot study in the city of Wichita Falls. Again, I keep mentioning Wichita Falls. They are the one who did the DPR, direct portable reuse, about 10 years ago. So now we are trying to make food out of wastewater, in addition to drinking water. Exciting research. And I like to mention briefly what I am start cooking at Texas State. This is what our water system look like at the Texas State University. We have 3 wells pumping groundwater from a very important aquifer called Edwards Aquifer, and sending the water, potable water, to the water tower. And water is used in so many different places, like water servers, dispensers, kitchens, and cafeteria, restaurants, swimming pool. I'm an avid swimmer, so every time I swim, I think about water, and bathroom, and irrigation. And wastewater is collected and sent to City of San Marcos wastewater treatment plant, as we mentioned, and the treated wastewater is sent to the San Marcos River. Actually, this San Marcos River is fed by Edwards Aquifer through at San Marcos Springs. So all water is connected, and Texas State is using approximately 1 million gallons of water, groundwater, every single day, and sending the wastewater to the San Marcos wastewater treatment plant and discharging. So this is very much a linear system, not circularity whatsoever. So what I'm proposing to do is to close this loop by taking this reclaimed water from San Marcos wastewater treatment plant, build this Bobcat advanced water purification facility, and actually adding some stormwater and condensate. Remember, the total dissolved solid of the reclaim is 600 milligram per liter above, so which means it's a little bit too salty for us to drink it as is. So we can actually supplement reclaimed water with stormwater and condensate, because stormwater and condensate has virtually no TDS or total dissolved solid in it. We can dilute the reclaimed water like this and make our water more pleasant to drink. So this is going to be the heart of the One Water Texas State project, so that we can actually shut down the Edwards Aquifer or wells that is pumping water from there. So this way we can protect the aquifer, which is a very important aquifer for in our area. There are quite a few endangered species. So we can protect this Edwards Aquifer, which is then water will be feeding into the San Marcos Spring, like so. And we can reduce the discharge from the wastewater treatment plant to the San Marcos River. This way, actually, we can double protect our aquatic environment. So groundwater is conserved, and river is not going to be receiving too much wastewater discharge, which is okay at the current regulations and stuff. But actually, we are not losing any water. So any water that was saved from here will be fed into the San Marcos River. Nobody loses anything. Everybody wins. So this is the kind of scheme I am trying to promote. And we are hoping to start a pilot study at the Texas State campus. We actually have a connection to the treated wastewater on campus. This is the picture of it. And we'd like to move this pilot to the campus, and I'd like to drink it. And we are going to add, hopefully adding a few components to it, GAC and ion exchange. That will be additional processes. Just because US EPA released that PFAS regulation, we actually have to have ion exchange or GAC to get rid of PFAS from the wastewater. If you're interested, I can show you some data. So that is additional scheme to be tested so that we can serve water at the Texas State campus. This is going to be a pretty big deal, and I'm still working on funding working hard to secure the funding to make it happen. So this is a kind of last slide. Just in conclusion, we got a lot of great results, and I want to mention that all of these projects are done by graduate students. Actually 3 graduate master's students, Carlos Espindola, Daniel Leontief, and Khan Rasha, and so many undergraduate students. So I really need to acknowledge their hard work and contribution to this. I cannot say I built this system at all, because they are the ones who did this. And online analyzer work, still work in progress. I wish I could share some results today, but it's a little bit too premature to show. But we have found that reclaimed water is indeed very tasty after the advanced treatment in many different ways. And we are still learning more and more about the taste and odor and aesthetics. And we are publishing a couple of papers very soon, and please stay tuned. So with that, I'd like to thank you for your attention. It's 11:50, and I think we have some time to take some questions.
Thank you, Dr. Ikeda. Very interesting and informative lecture. And we do have like 10 minutes for questions, and we have a lot of good questions from the audience. And the first few from Evan Granite. So his questions in the chat box. I guess you can see the questions. Evan, hey, good to see you, Evan.
Good to see you, Ron.
Okay, actually, Evan was my supervisor at NETL, the National Energy Technology Laboratory. So Evan, you can, yeah, go ahead.
Sure. No, this was a terrific talk. I enjoyed it very much.
Thank you very much.
You mentioned in the talk, there's so many potential contaminants. How do you test for all of them? I think you mentioned talking about proxies representing different classes of contaminants. Is that the way to go?
Well, that's a great question. Well, we have a testing method for a lot of drinking water contaminants. Those are all published and available. So we send out selected water samples for such analysis, including general chemistry, heavy metals, ions, some pharmaceuticals, PFAS, and plasticizers, and you name it, right? And so far, not many trace contaminants are regulated, except for PFAS, per and polyfluoroalkyl substances. But we have tested, and that's a great question. In order for us to know that water quality is good, we do have to use some surrogate methods, but we are trying to come up with more direct method for critical parameters like DBP, disinfection byproducts, and pathogens. It's still work in progress.
And can you recover any valuable materials from the wastewater? I think you mentioned at the end about, I don't know if it was recovery of nitrogen, from the urine or from making food in the space station, but from sewage sludge, there's been a lot of papers over the recent 10 or 15 years about platinum group metals from the erosion of the three-way catalyst on the back of our automobiles getting into the drain water. Have you thought about trying to recover, or even organic solids from the sewage? Could that be possibly fertilizer material? Have you thought about that?
Yes. Well, my research focus is primarily liquid because I'm a swimmer and I love water. But yes, you are absolutely correct. Sewage sludge contains a lot of valuable materials, not only the nutrients and fertilizing materials. And fertilizers, those nitrogen and phosphorus should be reused because phosphorus is running out. We are running out of phosphorus. So we do have to recover and reuse, and that's going to be more towards the agricultural reuse type of situations. And those trace metals, that's a hard one because the concentration is so low, and recovering and making it profitable is going to be very difficult to do. I would suggest if we know the source of those trace metals, because those trace metals are probably coming from certain specific sources, and identifying the sources and get that out at the source is probably the most cost effective, rather than trying to combine them all and treat it at the end. That's probably not the most
and then my last question is, since these are public systems, what if a bad actor, puts material into the wastewater stream that doesn't really belong there? If they dump toxic waste or something, can your system handle these occasional spikes of high concentration of bad contaminants?
And that is an excellent question, and that happens every once in a while. I keep, not every day, but like once in a while, once in 2 years, there are some accidental release of some unknown chemicals which turned out to be toxic, and that is difficult to detect even for drinking water systems at this moment. If the illegal dumping is associated with high salinity, we can actually fairly easy to tell because we can see the huge spike in conductivity that clearly tells us something is wrong. So as soon as we see that, that's actually easy one to detect. We can just shut it down and not send in the water to the system. That's doable. But pathogens, that's going to be tricky. And I think the pandemic situations are those are the ones water utilities trying to be prepared with. so that if huge pandemic occurred and the concentration went through the roof, then that needs to be taken care of. So that's something we have to be very careful. But if we monitor some microbial pathogens, that would be possible.
All right.
And that's our goal. Well, thank you very much for your questions.
Thank you, Evan. So our next question is from Timothy. Do you supplement the treated wastewater with any mineral to enhance and control taste?
Yeah, thank you very much, Timothy. This is an excellent question. You probably know, distilled water doesn't taste great. It tastes so pale, and so yeah, a lot of time, indirect portable reuse facility, they have to add some minerals, mostly calcium and magnesium, to actually, in order to prevent corrosion in the distribution system, we have to add some minerals back. So that's important thing. And actually, the taste is that's something we want to look at in the next phase. Whether we should really take out all the minerals, or shall we keep them, or shall we dilute some? That is an important question, because nobody wants to drink the water that doesn't taste good. Excellent question. Hope I answered your question.
Our next question is from Mohammed about treatment of DMSD and DMSO2.
Yes, DMS and DMS, so dimethyl sulfide, dimethyl trisulfide, dimethyl sulfoxide, I'm not too sure about that. But those could be reasonably well removed by oxidative processes. If we use ozone or hydrogen peroxide and UV, we should be able to destroy them. I think reverse osmosis may have some limitation. If the molecular weight is too small, that those compounds may pass it through, although our data did show those compounds could be removed reasonably well. It seems like you're familiar with the urine recovery system. Good.
Okay, our next question is from Ajit about RO process. Can you comment on that?
Okay. Yes, this is definitely. It looks like I failed to mention what kind of processes we are using. Our reverse osmosis is one of the processes we use. But I would rather stay away from RO, because RO will produce concentrate stream, and the recovery is approximately 85 to 90%. So actually, we have another project developing the process to enhance the recovery of reverse osmosis all the way to 98%, 95 to 98%. But that is a limitation of reverse osmosis. So I'd like to be away from RO as much as we can, but we may have to use it if the situation, like people don't like to drink ozone BAC water. If people prefer RO water, then we may as well.
All right, I have a question. So you mentioned in the ozone BAC system you use for treatment, the process, and there's some issue with 246 TBA, and you mentioned that this issue may be addressed by increasing the ozone dose, right? So
yes.
my question is, how high you were going to increase the ozone dose, and will there be any negative impact of the ozone dose on the whole system?
Yes, excellent question. Yes, that is very valid. Well, we typically add the ozone about the same concentration as total organic carbon, TOC. So 1-to-1 ozone TOC ratio is what people try to use to avoid any unwanted outcomes, such as DBP formation bromate. Actually, we did see elevated concentration of bromate when we increased the ozone dose to higher to take care of the TBAs. tribromoanisole. So that is a negative impact. Also, of course, ozone is expensive. It eats up a lot of energy, electrical energy to produce. So high ozone dose means we have to spend more money, and we want to avoid that. So that's an excellent question. So yeah, I have some ideas how to deal with bromate that needs to be included in the full-scale system.
Okay, we have one last question.
Okay, well, if you want, I'll just text my this is my email address. So if you want to email me, please feel free to do so. And I also have a LinkedIn page, and I'm pretty active. And thank you, Dr. Lin, to post that. I was in Sweden last week, and I was totally offline, and I didn't notice. And I remember seeing that, and I checked that yesterday, and I found it and liked it. So yeah, I'm very active in LinkedIn, so you can feel free to send me the LinkedIn invite. Mention that you saw my presentation. I'll be happy to accept. Sometimes I don't, but if you mention.
Yeah, sounds good. So I guess due to the time limitation, we have to close the lecture here now. And if there's any additional question, you can feel free to reach me or Dr. Ikehara, and have the emails in the chat box. So thank you everyone for joining us today, and I hope you have a good rest of the day. Thank you.
Thank you very much for having me. Have a wonderful day.